morning, everyone. This is Lizzie Taylor, Director of Programs with FCICA. I will be moderating today's webinar. This program is being recorded, so to maintain the integrity of the recording, all attendees will be muted. The recorded session will be housed on the FCICA Member Center and this education portal, as well as featured on our website and YouTube channel. We have some upcoming events. Next week on Thursday at 11 a.m., we will have another product webinar, Construction Specialties. So be sure to check that out and get registered. Our upcoming Managing the Schedule educational webinar will be on Thursday, January 17th at 11 a.m., and that will be presented by a SIM, Sherry Porter Nelson. Early bird discount for our FCICA Convention 2019 in March at Tucson. That early bird will end on January 18th. So if you're looking to get a nice discount, you should sign up as soon as possible. Along with our convention, we are also hosting 3 Days to Sim Tucson, so that will take place the 3 days before, and this is where you can get your Sim certification in just 3 days. It sounds short, but it's really not that bad. We make it all work. We give you food, and we will also be hosting a Sim caucus, which will be only Sims getting to talk about being a Sim and the benefits, and also maybe what we can do to improve. And then, of course, everyone who's a Sim, and then some of our FCICA Board of Directors and Council members will be at a graduation dinner on Monday evening. So if you are a Sim, make sure you're checking that out. If you're coming to convention, maybe come in a day or two early so you can meet us for the caucus and the graduation dinner. And if you're not a Sim, I would highly recommend looking into this. And our last January webinar, yes, we do have 4 in January, will be on thermoplastic urethane sheet flooring, and that will be presented by Graham and Jim, and that'll be January 31st at 11 a.m. So notice we do not have any webinars during the week of surfaces, so this one is the week after. You guys can all go and enjoy surfaces. And then just to let you all know, our February product webinar will be February 7th at 11 a.m. There will be more webinars in February, but didn't want to overwhelm you with too much up front. And then our typical reminder for our Sims, this and all FCICA webinars may be credited towards your continuing education requirements for your Sim renewal. Visit the Sim page on our website for renewal details, and you can always reach out to me with any questions. Any views and opinions expressed in this webinar are those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect any official views or positions of FCICA. At this time, I'm going to initiate the recording, so please excuse me for a brief pause. Welcome to the FCICA Product Webinar Series. We are pleased to have Jerry Lee of Protect All Flooring with us today. Jerry, the floor is yours.
Lizzie, thank you for your help setting this up. I appreciate it. And thank you to those who joined on today right after the New Year. So Happy New Year, and I look forward to kicking off January, sharing a little bit of information about Protect All. So my name is Jerry Lee, National Sales Manager for Protect All Commercial Flooring. And today we're going to talk a little bit about finding the right dealers and contractors to keep up with the upcoming growing commercial business. So a little background about myself, born and raised in Oscoda, Michigan. Anybody who doesn't know where that is, it's just about 3 hours north of Detroit, up along the Lake Huron coast, and I live about 10 minutes from the manufacturing facility for Protect All. I started off right out of school working in the aviation industry. There's a company called Coletta Airlines just down the street from where I'm located, and worked there about 3.5 years doing commercial repairs on airliners till the downturn in the economy, and started looking, and I found an opportunity with JRB and Oscoda Plastics to join Protect All in customer service. Started there in 2001. After about 2 years working in the Northeast Territory, really took a liking to the flooring line and the industry, so I moved over to an opportunity in our tech sales department, and at that time we didn't have a in-house installation class, so I kind of went out to the industry, started working with contractors out in the field, and other manufacturers, and looking at what we could do to really build a training program for Protect All and bring that back and work towards better installation practices on the Protect All side. So after about 4 years in that department, Started to pass that over to some of the regional managers because we implemented a 2-day, once-a-month training program. And then it went on to corporate sales. So at that time, we were doing a lot of work with a lot of different corporate chains and franchise groups, but we didn't have anybody who was out there creating and working with those individuals to put specs in place. So I kind of took it upon myself to grow that department. And then about 8 years ago, I came into the national sales manager position, and since then had an opportunity to put regional managers out in the field, bring in distribution, and really grow that dealer network to what it is today. Current departments who report to me today, obviously our regional sales team, we've got 6 out across North America. Our business development coordinators, they all work out of Oscoda, Michigan. We also have 1 tied to each regional. I also have the tech sales team. We have a team of 2 now that go out and do monthly installation trainings, site visits, all those types of just kind of technical related resources, and then our office coordinator who takes care of all of our shipping, and then obviously our production team up here in Oscoda, Michigan. So I always like to kick these off with talking about our mission statement. Our company mission statement is to wow our customers always, always. And even though a little sticky, we take this very seriously on our day-to-day and monthly activities, and really look at with each one of my regional teams, how we do this better each month as we go through the year. So here's some ways that I think that we do this very well. Number one, with Protectol, we have a durable product. We have been making Protectol for over 25 years, and in the 18 years that I've worked with it, we've never had somebody wear through a sheet, have it crack a chip. So it really speaks loudly to the durability of this product. I train all of my team to be tech savvy. It's kind of the way that I was raised in the industry, and I think it's important with a product like Protectol to have a regional and business development team very tech savvy around us. So it's very important. Our lead times are very competitive. We have great stocking distributors across North America that I'll talk a little bit more about later, but it allows us to get product out to a job site normally in less than a week, which is pretty important. Product defects or return product to us, it accounts for less than 1% of our sales annually. We do a really good job at QCing things before they get out the door. And normally, if we get things back to us, it's normally due to freight damage or those types of issues. So another thing that we do really well, we put bid opportunities out to our established customers. We're constantly chasing new business, and we like to hand those out to people that have gone through our training and are on board with us. We also constantly develop training. We have a great installation training program. We have great sales. And also any other function that can help customers work with Protectol. We're always improving and developing those training programs. And then the last one on here is our 100% say-do ratio. We take this very seriously, and it's important to my team. We never commit to things that we don't feel like we can take care of. So very important. All right, a couple facts about Oscoda Plastics and Protectol. We're founded in 1996. Our process is very unique and patented around the fact that we extrude our material. And anybody who hasn't seen vinyl extrusion before, it's important to know when you look at Protectol because we extrude it out at over 400 degrees, which that's what forms our sheet goods. It allows it to be watertight, and it's very unique to this vinyl process. We're also identified as commercial grade and slip resistant, certified by the National Floor Safety Institute. And then also when we make Protectol, we do use single source supply. So we take all of our raw materials, and anybody who knows us for the recycling, we're really taking the same materials every time to make our material, and it makes Protectol very unique in the industry. It's really where we get our durability from. So a little bit about our parent company. We're founded by JRB Enterprises, which is John R. Burt. Duralast is our kind of the lead sled dog in our companies. They're a single-ply roofing manufacturer based out in Saginaw, Michigan, and that's where all of our raw materials come from. They're the 3rd largest roofing manufacturer in North America for single-ply roofing. Also Plasitech, that's where the company that forms the vinyl for that. We do have a metal company who makes metal accessories for the roofing brands. Anvil Paint and Coatings is the newest acquisition down in Florida. Then Tip Top Screw, we make our own screws and fasteners down the street from where we're at. And we're constantly looking to grow inside and underneath that umbrella. So the division that I'm responsible for, JRB Recycling, which is Oscoda Plastics, There's two products that fall kind of under my watch. Protect All Flooring is the number one, but then number two is ProFlex. It's a vinyl expansion joint that's used a lot of times when you walk over sidewalks, curbs. You might see our material. It's the same color as the concrete, but we recycle and make that up here in Oscoda, Michigan also. All right, so some facts about Protect All. We are made in the USA. We're made from over 90% recycled material. Most of the common colors that we use every day are in the dark gray and 100% recycled content, but some of the other colors that some of the terracottas, browns, blacks, require some of the color concentrate to be added, so it drops it down to that 90% recycled content. But the grays that we do every day, they're 100% recycled, so that's pretty strong in the industry. Common sheet sizes for us are 5x8s and 5x5s. And then we do have 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch thicknesses. 1/4 inch is most common. That's what we're doing about 80% on a daily basis out in the industries. We do have two finishes, matte and gloss. One of the unique features that Protect All is known for is slip resistance. We have a coefficient of friction of 88 dry and 92 wet, and anybody who might be unfamiliar with that, what that shows us with Protect All and our smooth finish is our coefficient of friction goes up when it's wet versus being dry. So this is the system that we're going to talk about today. This is our commercial flooring system. This shows kind of a mock-up of what we put out in the industry every day and what is stocked by distribution. So this shows our sheet goods down on the floor, shows a rolled cove base that goes up the wall, and this is all 1/4 inch thickness. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can also see our drain rings on the drain, our corner guards, Z-bar, our welds, and then the epoxies and sealants that we offer. So this also is a little hard to read, but anybody who goes through one of our training programs, this is kind of the product list that we start with. Starts off with our sheet sizes and the most common products that we put out every day. It talks about our two-part epoxies. Really the differences in our epoxies are our set time. We have a fast set and a slow set, so that takes care of new construction and retrofits. Then we've got, as you go down, our rolled cove base comes in 30-foot rolls, all 1/4 inch thickness, and it's made in the same dye lot as the flooring material. We have all the aluminum and stainless steel accessories kind of to keep flooring and systems watertight. We've got great sealants that hold up to all the elements out in the field. And then when you get down to, you see the colored boxes, and that talks about the rapid weld. This is a system that's very unique to Protect All. Actually, I developed a patent for this and Protect All, but this replaces the hot air welding that we used to do out in the field. Kind of took some of the human error out of the installation of Protect All. So we inject this material down to the seams. It dries in 6 to 10 minutes depending on temperature, and really carries a seam strength of about 3 times the strength of a standard heat weld. So pretty important out there, and this comes in the same colors as the floor. This is used in our base seams and our wall seams to meet the cove and give us that cove radius that the health departments look for out in the field. So what's important with this is we produce all the accessories that are used with the Protect All flooring system, and obviously when we identify areas of need, we've got a couple new products that are going to come out this year where we'll be able to expand on that, but we supply all these through distribution. And during our training program, each one of these are installed hands-on by every contractor that goes through the class. All right, so we look at Protect All today. About 80% of our business annually is done in kitchens and restaurants. So this is what we're going to focus on today because this is a growing market, and even today with the amount of business that we do in this industry, we only capture about 1 to 2% annually out there. So this is growing rapidly for us, and this is where we need to look at additional resources for installers and contractors that can help us with these growing markets. So we talk about corporate accounts and target opportunities. These are some of the accounts that we're doing with today. We're doing work with today. Pizza Ranch is a corporate account up in the Midwest that one of our internal people developed. These average anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 square feet in their kitchens, coolers, and freezers. I've had good success there, but that's a growing chain for us. Panera Bread, we've done quite a few of those. Chopped is a new chain up in the Northeast, also doing a lot of their food service areas and kitchens. Sonic, this is one we've done for years. We've actually had really good success in there with a lot of those franchise groups. Twin Peaks is kind of an up and coming, and we've done quite a bit with them out on the West Coast. Starbucks was brand new in 2018, but doing quite a bit of work in their kitchen areas. Five Guys and Shake Shack, same thing, developed up in the Northeast, and really started off in 2018, but we've got good traction going into 2019. Some other outside of the restaurant opportunities, Marriott Hotels and Resorts, Hyatt Regency. We've done a lot with hotels over the last 2 to 3 years, and same thing, kitchens, food service areas, elevators, really anywhere where they're looking for durability and something that'll kind of quiet traffic. That's where we've had good success with them. Petco, also, we've done a lot with pet care in the last couple of years due to reducing odor, so that's been really important. And then NASA, I'll talk a little bit about later. It's probably one of my favorite opportunities. Then across the bottom, we've really had an impact on Silicon Valley out on the West Coast, along with some insurance providers and things like that. But doing their food courts, kitchen areas, coolers, freezers, all that kind of stuff, is we've gotten good traction through the years. So when my team looks at corporate accounts and as we look at what we can do to expand our dealers and contractor network, this is how we target corporate accounts. So we look at the map as a whole, and we're looking at where certain corporate accounts and end user accounts are based at. When we look at these, we try to partner up with people in those local areas to work to win that business. And if we haven't partnered with the right installers to do that, my sales team, they're going after these corporate accounts on a weekly and monthly basis. And there's a number of these on the map that we won business with between 2017 and 2018 and continue to grow with us. But this is just kind of how we target and how we break it down. And there's some areas that are very saturated with these types of accounts that we can go after. So it all starts here. When we're looking at how do we target corporate accounts to go after, our sales team is out on the road every day, along with our distribution teams and some of our dealers and contractors. So when we see a facility like this, this is very beneficial information for us because we're out on the road in all these areas, see a facility like this. Number one, the sign shows us that it's a Tim Hortons and it's being built in an area where we've got a distributor right down the street. It also shows us who's the GC, who's the project manager. This is the kind of information that we're looking for on a daily basis, and one of our dealers and contractors shares this info with us. A lot of times we'll go stop on site if somebody already hasn't done so and try to figure out who the decision makers are on this job site because, if one Tim Hortons is going up here, we know that there's probably more than that beyond this particular site. So it's great information for us. This is all where it starts. We stop on the site. Always bring a hard hat because it's required to go into one of these facilities. But I can tell you most of the times when we go in there, we hear comments like long lead times, waiting weeks for the product, can't get contractors out here. So we have a service. We can normally get somebody in there fairly quickly to give them a bid and turn around that location fairly quickly. So we win work by stopping on these job sites quite often. People that we're looking for when we stop on these job sites, obviously the owner, that's great. They will typically tell an architect, hey, here's the product that you're going to put in the spec and we're going to give it a try. But if we can't find the owner, director of facilities, director of construction, even the safety manager, we've noticed over the last 2 years with the push on safety that the safety departments have taken slip-resistant and durable products and specified those through the architect firm. So we've gotten a lot of traction there. Location manager, general manager, in-house designer, those are all very beneficial also. And then lastly, franchise design. If the companies are big enough, a lot of times they'll have somebody internally that works on their design and puts product in specs. We can work together with them to get the right products in the right applications. So how do we keep up with the growing demand? Commercial restaurants are growing tremendously out in the industry. That's why we're talking about this topic today. So we need to continue to find, onboard, and develop the right dealers and contractors in each one of our territories to keep up with this growth out in the marketplace. So for those on the call and in the future, what are some good reasons to come on board with Protectol? If you're looking for new products for new markets, add additional square footage to existing bids on stuff that you're already working on. Let's say you're doing kitchen work now, but you're only bidding on the front of the house. Expand product offerings to end users. If you've shown other products to these types of accounts before, this can give you additional footage in the back of the house, what we call the kitchen areas, to expand on those bids. And then obviously, if you have a talented workforce that we can train we can now train the full installation of Protectol in about 1 day. And then the last question, do you want to grow your business in 2019? There's good opportunity for business growth because we've captured a small part of this market, but there's just tremendous room to grow that. So if you want to grow your business in 2019, here's a way that Protectol can help. So when you think about what's your annual sales objective and what do you want to achieve, is it a dollar amount? Is it new business locations in a territory? Is it to capture a new market? All these kind of play into these categories that we have success in. So if you're considering Protectol for your 2019 strategy, think about what's your plan and how could my team help you get there. Always think about what are some of the Protectol tactics, what specifically we will do to execute the strategy. And then lastly, whatever the goal, we have a team of experts with a national footprint. So this is a snapshot of our regional manager coverage and our tech coverage. This map shows the green stars. This is where our regional managers are located today. So we've got 6 regionals throughout the field, kind of strategically placed. And I know it looks like our guy out in Colorado, he's got a pretty big territory to cover out west, but we've got good distribution, just like a lot of our other territories. And Larry Demicoli, who's out there, he supports them really well, and he gets around that territory quite often. The blue stars for us are where our techs are based. So we've got Tom Mitchell based out in Phoenix, Arizona, and then we've also got Rob Sekoyak based up out of our headquarters in Michigan. And if you split the U.S. by the Mississippi, they Rob covers the East Coast, and then Tom covers the West Coast. Both long-term Florida guys, definitely good tech resources for us to get everybody up and trained. And those guys spend an equal amount of time between installer trainings and sales training. And then obviously where my regionals need to step in, as I said before, everybody's tech savvy on the product, so they all step in and do trainings where necessary. So this is a snapshot of our stocking distributors across North America, and it just goes to show that there's really not a territory that we can't get product to in a short amount of time. Over the last 2 years, we've really expanded on our stocking distribution program, and this will even grow again in 2019. You'll see some more stocking locations up in that Northwest Territory, but there's material readily available at each one of these locations throughout North America. So back to, what is your Protectol objective? There's a couple math ways that I break down the math that I shared in this presentation, just kind of show you the potential with bringing Protectol onto your product lines in the near future. So the first one that we start with, there's a lot of dealers who come to and they say, how do we get to $1 million? So we broke that down. We've got the strategy with the math, and by identifying opportunities on a couple different quadrants in each one of the territories. So we never want to be in this situation. I've been there a long time ago. But when we create a sales plan, we want to be very strategic and come up with the right tactics to help us get there throughout the year. So the first one for us, we said, all right, we take a territory and we have a dealer who wants to add $500,000 in annual sales to their product mix. So for us, average kitchen size is about 1,400 square feet. That's a little shy of your standard Sonic drive-in. Those average anywhere from 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. Average cost in product from distribution is about $7 all in. That's sheets, adhesive, wall base, all the accessories to go with it. Average sale price to the end user, anywhere from $12 to $15. I know that's a big variance, but there can be a lot of factors that go into that. Wall base, prep work, things like that. So we just try to give that round number. Those are very competitive numbers out in the industry, and a lot of times that's what commercial grade quarry tile is going for, so we know we can be very competitive at that mark. So average for us, I use $14 a square feet. That's a sale to the end user of $19,600. So we work with dealers. How many sales would you need in a year to get to that number? It's about 26. How many months in a year? We've got 12. How many jobs needed per month? 2.2. So you have to find 2 jobs a month. And if we had a number of salespeople of 2 in that territory, that's 1 job per month per rep. And that's how simple this breaks down. So the next one I'd like to share is we look at the $1 million mark. This is a real common discussion when people come up here. How do we get to $1 million with it? So we take all those same numbers, go down through. Total sales needed in a year, 52. How many months a year? 12. How many jobs per month? 4. And if we had 5 salespeople or reps out on the road, that's 1 job per month per rep. Pretty doable. Okay, so where do we find 1 job per month? This is a study that came out at the end of 2017. I think this is really important to share. So at the end of 2017, there was over 647,000 operating commercial kitchen-style locations throughout North America. There was a slight decline then, but with 647,000 locations out across North America, I'd be just targeting retrofits because we know the abuse that products take in those applications. All right, so here's the 4 quadrants that we look at when I get together with my team annually, quarterly, and monthly. First thing we always target is our existing dealers. And there's 2 areas that we look at in those. So existing dealers with existing applications, always very valuable. We want to help all of the people that have gone through our training. We want to help them be successful, so we're always looking at how do we help them win work in there. And then we take our existing dealers and we ask them about new applications that they have out there and how do we help them go in and show product to those people, not only to product educate, but give them an opportunity to put pricing to it. It's very important. So then the second side of that, when we look at new dealers and new applications, and then new dealers with existing applications, 2 very important categories as we look at areas across North America where we're kind of weak in our coverage. All right, so the first one, existing dealers with existing applications. This allows our existing network to get more jobs and add more square footage to their bids. There's not anybody out there who we go out and meet with and help on jobs that don't appreciate that style with my team. So this allows them to focus on bid work, public bids, private bids, and then invitations. And then we also look at, for negotiated work, are they the right guy to win that? Did they recommend Protectol? And then do they have the reputation, the quality to win that? Is their price right? And where's their comfort level? So those are things that we all take into consideration with my team. But one thing that we always take the time to do, especially with our existing people, we've noticed this a lot through the years where we need to go in with the new rapid weld system and maybe help them out on their bids because somebody may bid that with standard price of heat welding. You figure an average of 1 foot per minute putting material down to a rapid weld they can put down 16 to 20 feet in a minute. Really kind of changes the way the labor is worked into those bids, and people can still be very competitive with that. All right, so the next 2, new dealers with existing applications. This is an opportunity we look across North America. We've got gaps in our coverage areas where we could use new dealers to help us complete work that we have in the pipeline. So this kind of falls into the new dealer existing applications. We give them a product that can be a little more competitive, gives them advantage on some of the competition, and then it gives them a little better exposure with some of the corporate accounts that we're doing work with. And some of that exposure, it's an excitement level with some of the dealers and contractors out there. There's definitely motivation that comes with it once we get somebody through training. I'll tell you in that comment, we're booking out our trainings normally 2 to 3 months in advance. We always end up with some openings, but we've got anywhere from 6 to 8 people committed to trainings. Right now, I think we're about 4 months out. But we always keep room, and we also offer a second day to those for people that come in kind of last minute. So it does offer a new revenue stream, an additional revenue stream at that, and then something to go against the competition. One thing that we've seen out there is there's a lot of companies that offer some of the competitive products like quarry tile and epoxy and things like that. And we don't have the market saturated on the Protectol side, so there's definitely room for folks to be competitive. All right, so the next quadrant is new dealers with new applications. This allows new dealers to open up new relationships. When we talk to new dealers and we get people to come through the training program, this is an opportunity to sit down and see where are folks doing work that we can help them win footage. And a lot of times what we do is we go in together. There's a lot of applications that I've got at the end of this presentation where we won work in 2018 by helping new dealers once they went through training. Normally once they go through the class, they'll say, hey, what about this hotel? What about this application here? What about the basement? Or probably one of the most common last year was, what about this second-story food court? And how do we keep moisture from going down to those lower levels? we were able to help some new dealers with that in 2018, and it brought new relationships to the table for them. So there was an excitement level, there was a motivation, definitely a new revenue stream, and the confidence of those dealers afterwards was pretty tremendous. All right, so as we evaluate our opportunities, I look for dealers in all those segments to help them win work, and so is my team. Because I ask the question, do we have the right partners in each state? I can tell you there's a lot of room to expand based on the work that we have coming in. And, product isn't an issue, but getting people out to those sites to do the work has been a growing struggle. Do we have enough partners to support the growing commercial kitchen market? I can say today we're maintaining, but there's some new stuff coming to the pipeline for 2019. We definitely need to expand on this. How do we find what we need? This is where we look to networks like FCICA. It's a great network of great contractors, and I think there's opportunities to grow some of these relationships and get some folks through training. So some of the segments that we looked at in 2018, we actually started training quite a few quarter tile contractors, good quality individuals that wanted to expand their lines. It was great. In the past, 3 to 4 years ago, we didn't look at that because we were always focused on the very experienced welder, the long-term heat welding guy. And it's changed a little bit with Rapid Weld. We still definitely want quality, and we want good relationships out there, the people that are established in the territories. But a good quality installer, we can teach them the system, the Rapid Weld, and everything, and get them on board fairly quickly. Even epoxy installers, that's also been a popular category, kind of up and coming. We've gotten some good traction there also. So what makes Protect-All a value add to, and what makes it easy for folks to come on board and get trained? Number one, our website. There's some great tools on our website that very educational, from what to order to installation techniques, even to sales tools. They're all on there. If you ask customers today, great margins out in the field. We don't have it saturated to where we want good competitive bids out in the field, but we want people to be happy with making money, and that's very important. Durability, I sleep very well at night because I know the durability of this product. That's very important. And we continue to, my number one mission is to continue to make the system easier to install by maintaining that durability. So very important. I find that my team is very hands-on, and then always we're constantly growing national accounts. That's probably the number one goal as we go into 2019, to continue to do that with my group. All right, so I'm going to highlight just a couple tools on our website. This is the front page of protectallflooring.com. Obviously, it's easy to find a sales rep or any of the key contacts, our color charts. But the one that I'm going to highlight is our material calculator down to the bottom right there. It's been a great tool that we rolled out at the beginning of last year. It's definitely gotten a lot of traction with folks out in the field. So real quick, this is what it looks like when you key in the information. It might be a little small, but if you add your project name, I put in new contractor grill, estimated square footage 2,100 square feet. You've got your base footage of 910. What code style, you can either do flash or stacked. Stack seems to be easier out in the field today, especially with a lot of our new guys. Waste factor is 7%, color dark gray. Put your email, your zip code, and then the date. And then when you click calculate, it gives you your complete material estimate. So your sheet count in square foot, 2247. How much base you'll need. Mass. So this gives you in an email and PDF form. So you shoot this right over to your distributor. Hey, give me pricing on this. Do you guys have this in inventory? The answer is normally yes. But you've got it for your file also. It can go right out to the end user. So very helpful tool when folks are trying to figure out what type of quantity of Rapid Weld and all those types of things that they need. We continue to perfect this tool, but it's come a long way. And probably the other big highlight with this is it is mobile friendly. So when you click on the link, you can save this, and it shows up right on the home screen on your phone. And a lot of our contractors use this for not only quoting on jobs, but also your freight quoting purposes. It's a very useful tool there. Next one, our installation videos. This is only a quarter of what's available on our website, but there is everything under the sun, and when a new method comes up that's been kind of tried and tested out in the industry and proven, it will show up here, and these are all available on the website. Great tools here. All right, so when we look at the right partners for us going forward in 2019, these are some things to ask yourselves. Number one, do you have the ability to perform the work? The standard, the trained crew, the people with the potential to come through the class, kind of take that out to the field. And then do you have the capacity? You know, obviously we've got growing national accounts. Do you have room to do you have room to add work to the flow? And the motivation, you know, what's the motivation of coming online with it? Because there's an investment to come up to the training, the time out of the field, and, you know, pretty minimal on the tools. But, you know, are you motivated to do so? Because, you know, my team is very motivated to help the people out in the field, but these are things that we look at so we know how to help people to be successful out there. So very important in those three categories. Probably the biggest one that we focus on at the end is the motivation. You know, are folks interested in negotiated work? Are they interested in, you know, bids that they have out there that they're working on currently that we can help them with? All those things, if you take into consideration, then we know how we can help somebody once they've gone through the class to be successful with Protect All moving forward. And then the last one, do they want to do business with us? It's always the question, what is the motivation, so we know how to help moving forward. And then lastly, what's the compatibility? You know, each company, are they a good fit? Do they fit the culture? When I talk about the say-do ratio and our mission statement to wow our customers always, always, it's very important. We look for people that kind of fit that culture. The personality. My team is high energy. They're out there on the road every day, out there on job sites. And a lot of times that fits real well with our contractors, but we always like to know how that fits. What type of reputation do you have out there? If we give somebody a Shake Shack that we've won the work on, you know, are they going to help us continue that relationship moving forward? So that's very important. And then do you have any existing relationships that we can help out with? So I always ask the question, should we do business together? And then what will be the net gain for both? So as we evaluate opportunities, always do we have the right partners? Do we have enough? I can say there's a lot of room for growth out across the territories. And the last thing to think about, what do you need from us to achieve this? And any notes, definitely encourage you while they're fresh, write them down, because that's stuff that you'll bring back to my team, and we talk about how we could help moving forward. So the next thing that I want to touch on is a couple references that I've got. If Protect All is new to you, here's a couple of my favorite references to share out in the field today. So number one, this was captured at the end of 2017. We started doing some test applications, but O'Hare International Airport, we started doing the jetways. I know this is beyond the restaurants and the kitchens that we were talking about earlier, but they were looking for slip resistance and durability. This is one that grew tremendously in 2018 and is only going to keep growing in 2019. We've now done O'Hare. We've done some work at Pittsburgh International Airport. We're doing some work now down in Atlanta for Delta. So this is kind of, I don't want to say it's growing like wildfire, but it's definitely getting some traction out there. And we've not only done the jetways, now we're doing the ready rooms where the employees kind of stage with luggage and bring on the planes that are normally right down below the jetways. But it's we've kind of gone at that backwards, but we're doing all those applications before the commercial kitchen-style applications that are out in the rest of the airport. So great application for us there. This one's NASA. I touched on it earlier. This is my oldest reference with Protect All. So the very first footage that went down at this application was over 17 years ago, and it was around kind of their control center. They were trying to stop moisture from getting down below. Anybody who hasn't seen this before, this is a 7-story pool deck. It was shown on Armageddon and Space Cowboys. But as you can imagine, and there's a full-size replica of the space station down inside that pool, but they couldn't have water leaking down the edges of that pool. So this is over 100,000 square feet of Protect All that's centered on this application. Still there, still performing to date. And my contact at this facility, he always tells me it's my worst reference because they won't have to use anymore because it's not wearing out. But we love to talk about it, and it's been pretty awesome to go visit that site. Probably once a year when I'm down there working with our distributor, pop in at that site to see how everything's holding up. And they drive forklifts on this. They do just about everything that you can imagine to abuse this facility. So this is a new pet care facility that was done for us between 2017 and 2018. Kind of a decorative application. The installers did a fantastic job cutting this in and welding it up. But for all the reasons that you can imagine in pet care, it's pretty important that we put in a product that was non-porous and didn't soak up some of the things that get put on the floor throughout the day. And this one up in Edmonton, Canada, this is a water park, and this one's actually been shown on the Travel Channel on quite a few different shows. This is over 300,000 square feet of protectile that's put around this facility. Had to be watertight, had to be slip resistant, but we continue to grow on this application up in Edmonton. There, it's pretty awesome. So in the last one that I've got in here is the John Hancock Observatory. This was done just a couple of years ago, and I actually had my kids in here, took a picture of it, and realized that after I went away that protectile was what was in there. But I couldn't think of a better application to have a slip-resistant floor. If you feel like going out on that ride that takes you out over the building, definitely want to have your feet locked down when you're looking down the side of the Hancock Observatory. All right. So thank you, everybody who joined on for the webinar today. If you haven't seen us on social media, check us out. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We've always got application photos. One thing that we always love to share is when our contractors and dealers out in the field and even distribution shares application photos, we normally try to tag those individuals and share them out on social media, and we've got a good presence out there. So check them out if you haven't done so yet. And the last thing that I've got, if you're going to be attending Surfaces in the very near future, we will be at booth 4220. Definitely stop by, check us out. Most of my team will be out there, and definitely like to talk to you more. So thanks, everybody, for joining on today. That's what I've got so far. I will pass it over to Lizzie for Q&A.
Okay, fantastic presentation, Jerry. Thank you so much for sharing that. If anyone has any questions, you just go down to the panel next to the presentation, and you'll see a button that says Q&A at the right-hand side of that first panel. And you just enter your question, hit submit, and we'll see it come through. So go ahead and think of your questions. Jerry, did you have anything, any common questions that you get that you didn't cover in your presentation?
Yes. A lot of times we get questions of, when do you offer your trainings, installation trainings? So our contractor classes are hosted the first week of every month on Tuesday and Wednesday in Oscoda, Michigan. So unless there's a holiday that falls in that same week, then we typically move it. But those can also be found on our website.
Great. It sounds like your website is a very comprehensive tool.
But this crew's making it easy on the Q&A. I almost feel like I covered everything.
I am not seeing any questions coming through. January 3rd. Oh, never mind. There's a question. What are the point load limits or concerns?
Very good question. So the first thing that I go back to is when we do a kitchen or restaurant style application, everything is placed on top of the protectile. And we've never had a question come back with, especially heavy pizza ovens going down through the material or leaving imprints. But it starts off at 641 pounds per square inch, and then it goes up from there. And that's on our interlocking product.
Okay. I'll wait here another minute or so, see if any other questions come through. That submission, that was a good question. So Jerry, will you be at Surfaces or just Protectol?
Absolutely. I will be out there. We've got a couple of demos going on throughout the show. We'll be showing some of the new tools that we're rolling out on the website, so they'll be shown in the booth. We'll be having some live demos with that, and most of my regional team will be out there also. So anybody who's out at the show and want to stop by and talk to somebody that might work in your local area, definitely do so. We've also got a number of contractors and distributors that are going to work the booth with us.
Excellent. And now, are you also planning on attending FCICA's Convention 2019 and our Commercial Flooring Trade Show?
Wouldn't miss it.
Excellent answer. Okay, I am not seeing any more questions coming through at this time, so let's wrap it up. Flip a page here. On behalf of FCICA, thank you, Jerry, for presenting today's webinar, sponsored by Protect All Flooring. This webinar's recording and handouts will be available on FCICA's Member Center and on this education platform. Certified installation managers who attended this webinar on the education platform can now navigate to their education credit profile to submit their credit. If you are looking for other continuing education opportunities, you can access previous webinars by navigating to the Courses section and clicking the On Demand button, and visit our Training Resources page on the FCICA website for other offerings. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your day.